Hello, hello, quirky humans. Today we're diving into one of my favorite things to do at the end of the year, and that is creating a vision board. And before you go into the whole, like, why would I post pretty pictures on a piece of cardboard? That's not what a vision board is. A vision board is a powerful tool for manifesting your ideal life. And if you need someone to prove it to you, you can watch last week's video where I review my 2024 vision board and show you all the things that actually came true. But if you're already like, yes, I know this is it, I want to go into creating a vision board, then let's go make some magic. If we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel, we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. So if you've never built a vision board before, you might be wondering, why? Why should I build a vision board? And let me give you 3 little reasons. Number 1, it focuses your energy, and what you focus on expands. Focusing your energy really helps bring the things you want into your life. And this isn't just a woo-woo energy thing. This is actually based on neuroscience, because seeing the things you want helps prime your brain and makes it easier for your brain to recognize opportunities that would bring you the things that you want. Reason number 2 is also based on neuroscience, but it's called the mental rehearsal. And what does that mean? What it means is that visualization for the brain, your brain doesn't really know the difference between doing something and visualizing it. And so it activates the same neural pathways when you're doing something than when you're visualizing it, which means that visualizing your ideal life can actually improve your performance. And this is something that a lot of athletes do. This is something that a lot of top performers do. And that is why visualizing through a vision board our ideal life can be so important. And reason number 3 is that it keeps you motivated. When you're having a low energy day, when you feel like everything's going wrong, when you feel like your life is shush, having a vision board keeps you focused on your why. It's your why and your life purpose and your ideal life is staring you back in the face. And so it keeps you motivated and inspired to keep going, even on a low energy day. I hope that by now I've convinced you that vision boards aren't just a pretty picture thing, collage thing, and that they're actually very, very powerful. If you didn't watch last week's video, let me give you a little context on how I start thinking about my vision board. If you did, you can skip this part if you want. But basically, I divide my life into 4 main categories: health, personal, opportunities, and relationships. And each of those 4 main categories is subdivided into 3 more. So I have a total of 12 sections, to put it that way. So health is subdivided into physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. Personal is learn, grow, and play. Opportunities is legacy, travel, and lifestyle. And then relationships is my home, my inner circle, which is basically my husband and my dogs, and then friends and family. Now, when I review my vision board like I did last week, or when I make a vision board from scratch, I always go section by section. And I always start here at the top with health, and I move down health, and then I go into personal, and then I go into opportunities, and then I go into relationships, and I end at friends and family. Now, there's 2 reasons why I do this. The first reason is that health, and my first subsection, physical health, really has an impact on everything else that you do. Your physical health, like if you want to run a marathon but you're feeling sick, you can't. If you want to learn a new language, but you're depressed or you're going through a really rough mental health period, it's really hard to focus on learning that language. We want to make sure that we're focusing a lot of our energy on health so that the rest can kind of flow a little easier. The second reason is that these 2 main categories, health and personal, are usually mostly dependent on me, whereas the other categories bring in a lot of other people. So what do I mean by that? If I want to eat healthy, that depends on me. That depends on me making the right choice. If I want to work out, that depends on me making the time and actually going and working out. If I want to journal, same thing. If I want to, say, read a book, same thing. If I want to make a jigsaw puzzle, same thing. It only depends on me making the decision and taking the action. Whereas when we go into opportunities or we go into relationships, other people come into the mix. So for example, in legacy is where I put all of my business goals. I have the goal to grow this YouTube channel, but I can't control whether you subscribe or not. I would really appreciate it if you do, though, if you're enjoying this video. I can't control that, though. What I can control is how many videos I'm putting out, that I'm improving my videos, that I'm improving my thumbnails, and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I can't control if you decide to subscribe or not. Please subscribe. That's what I mean by other people come into the mix. My home, I'm not the only one who lives here. My inner circle, relationship with my dog, relationship with my husband, that has more than one energy there, right? My friends and family, same thing. And so I like going from the things that are only dependent on me, starting with my health, which is very important because it flows into everything else, and moving on to the things that are less, I don't want to say less dependent on me, but that I need other people to do them with me, if that makes sense. Like if I have a goal to take a workshop or a class with a friend of mine next year, for example, then I have to go find the class, ask my friend if she'd like to go. We have to figure out our schedules. And so it's not just dependent on me. I hope that made sense. Now that you have that context, let's get into the actual building of the vision board. Before we deep dive into Pinterest and fall down the rabbit hole of all the pretty images that we can add there, we want to figure out what we want. And I use a very simple method called want, do, be. And this is what we're going to do for each section of your life. Now, these can be the same sections that I use, or they can be different sections. You can have less, you can have more. That is completely up to you. These are the 12 sections that work best for me. You don't have to use those. You can use something else entirely. But whatever sections you have, for each section of your life, you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. Question number 1, what do you want? So, for example, in spiritual health, I'm going to read you what I wrote. What do I want? I want to feel in control of my energy. I want to attract abundance and growth. I want to have expansive energy. I want to heal my wounds. I want to embrace my witchiness. I want to hone my intuition. I want to feel more connected to source. And I want to vibrate at a higher level. Okay? So what are we answering? What we're answering is just simply, what do we want? Now, don't hold back. There's nothing too small or too big to add to the what do you want list. If you want a mansion, or you want to buy a 15-story building, or you want to buy a plane, great, awesome. If that's what you want, I salute you for it. If what you want is something smaller and all you really want is, you know what, I'd really like to go to the farmer's market every weekend, right? Awesome. Everything goes. Just write out what you want. Once you're done with that, we're going to move on to question number 2. And question number 2 is, what do I have to do to get what I want? AKA, what is the action I have to take, or what are the actions I'd have to take? So again, let me read you what I wrote for the spiritual health section so you can get it, an idea. So what do I need to do? I wrote EFT tapping, journaling, hypnosis, meditation, working with crystals, tarot, understanding my astrology, studying witchiness, doing things just because they feel good. Now you'll notice that's not really an action plan. That's just a bunch of stuff that I could do to help me get what I want, okay? We're not setting goals here. Right now, what we're doing is we're trying to get the feeling of what our ideal life looks like. Which leads us to this 3rd question, and that's, who do I need to be? This is my favorite question because it's about identity. When you identify as a cook, as a good cook, you will cook more often. When you identify as an athlete, you will exercise more often. And so this question is really about embodying the person you need to be in order to have that ideal life. What is it? Do you need more confidence? Do you need to believe that you're worth it? Do you need to be louder, more bold, more unapologetic? Whatever it is that you need to embody in order to get the things you want, that's what we're answering here. So again, here's what I wrote for my spiritual health section. I wrote, who do I need to be? Unapologetic in my beliefs. I need to be unashamed of the things I believe in. I need to be protective of my energy, and I need to be aligned with my higher self as well as my higher power and trust my intuition more. Awesome. Okay? Those 3 questions for each of your sections, repeat it for each of your sections, and once you're done, we move on to step 2, which is extracting and affirming the feelings. What? Okay. Let's say you stepped back for like an hour or so. You can do this over the course of multiple days, but at least step back from the questions that you answered for an hour. Just give yourself a little space, give your brain a little time to think it over. And then you're going to go to your first section again, and you're going to read through your answers to the 3 questions, and you're going to ask yourself, what are the feelings that I can see associated here? Okay? I don't know if you've heard this before, but when people talk about manifestation, they talk a lot about how you have to really feel what you want. I have a hard time doing that because I'm a very analytical, logical head person. And so doing it this way helps me find the feelings and connect to those feelings. So you've answered the 3 questions. Now you're going to see what are the feelings associated with this, okay? So the feelings that I wrote for my spiritual section were powerful, energetic, magnetic, expansive, confident, grounded, empowered, and aligned. And then I want you to take those feelings that I just listed, I mean, whatever they are for you, and turn them into an affirmation. If you don't know what an affirmation is a positive present tense statement that is meant to help you connect with a belief that you don't necessarily have, reprogram negative thought patterns and things like that. The important thing is that it's present tense and it's positive. Like, that's the most important thing. What the idea behind creating this affirmation is you're creating an affirmation that encapsulates what that full area, what that full section means to you and what you want to bring into your life. So for my spiritual health, my affirmation ended up being, I radiate expansive energy, honor my intuition, and embrace my inner magic. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. I make new videos every single Friday. And if you've never made a vision board before, let me know in the comments, are you gonna make one now? And if you have, let me know in the comments what's the craziest thing that came true, because I love hearing those stories. Okay, now let's get into the crafty fun part, which is actually finding the images and doing all of that stuff. We have our want, do, be, we have our feelings, we have our affirmation. Now it gets to come to life. Step 1, I open up Canva. I open up my vision board template that I created for myself. In the description of this video, you are going to find a link that is for the template that I use in case you don't want to build one from scratch. It is completely free to download and you'll be able to get it there. If you want to build it from scratch, of course, that is also completely valid. But I know some of you are like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. So there is a template there for you. My template has 12 sections. They are 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they are columns because they have each the 3 subsections in each of them. I'll post the image here just so you can see it. Now, each section has a little photo in the middle and then 8 images around it. The thing in the middle is where my affirmation goes. And then it has 8 little things around it. Now, why 8? Why is there 9 photos per section? Why is there not more? I want more. I want to do it differently. You can do whatever you want, but I'll tell you why there's only 8. According to science and what our working memory is, our short-term working memory, the brain has the capacity to hold somewhere between 5 and 9 things in its head, like at the same time. And so 9 is kind of the max of what you can actually process from a brain perspective in short-term memory, which means that having 9 images for a section is the max that you should probably have if you want to focus on that section and visualize it, okay? Now, we have a lot more for the full vision board because we are bringing a lot of things into our lives. But usually when you want to say, oh, right now I really want to focus, this week I really want to focus on improving, my friends and families, my relationship with my friends and family, you can focus on just that section, which has just 9 things, which really works well for the short term. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you put your affirmation in the middle, and now you have 8 spaces left for images. Now, decide where your sections are going to go, okay? In the template, you have 12 sections. They're organized the way I would use them. However, you can move them around. You can choose wherever it goes. Some people like putting the more important stuff in the center and then the other stuff around it. Some people like organizing it like alphabetically. Some people like moving it around because they don't like the structure of like a too organized vision board. It's up to you. I like it structured. I liked it clear. I know that I like starting from health and moving to friends and family, like I explained before. And so that's why I have it structured that way. But truly, you are free to do whatever you want. Next thing, we've added our affirmations in the middle of each section. Now we get to find our images. Where do you search for your images? You can use Pinterest, you can use Google Images, you can use Stock photo websites like Unsplash. You can use Canva itself, especially if you have a paid Canva account. If you have a free Canva account, probably wouldn't recommend it as much because you'll be limited on what images you can use. But what I want you to do before you start searching for your images is read the affirmation of the section you're working on, kind of breathe it in, read it, and then go look for images that align with that affirmation. Now, extra tip for if you're using Pinterest, for example, adding the word aesthetic to the end of whatever you're searching for. So let's say fit body aesthetic or healthy eating aesthetic is going to help you find prettier pictures. And it doesn't matter that they're pretty. No. What matters is that they feel aligned with that affirmation and that feeling that you want to create. That's the important bit. Okay. Once you find a bunch of images, you start dragging them into your vision board, and then you repeat this process for each section until you've done all of your sections. And then you take a step back and you look at your full vision board. And once you're looking at your full vision board, you ask yourself, is there anything here that doesn't feel right? And if there's anything there that doesn't feel right, then you delete it. You get rid of it. You change it out. You find a different picture. You move it around until you are completely happy with it. And if you are completely happy with it, then congratulations, you just created a vision board. Now, what do I do with it? Once your vision board is created, we have to look at where are we going to place it. I'm going to tell you the 5 places where I put it every single year, and then I'm going to also mention a couple of other options that I've heard people do. First thing I do is I print it out and I frame it, and it's always above my desk or on my desk. Second thing I do is I print it out and I tape it in my closet so I see it every single day when I'm getting ready. Third thing I do is I print it out, I fold it, and I put it like right after the front cover of my planner so that when I open my planner, it's always there and I can always refer back to it. Fourth thing I do is I create a screensaver for my laptop. And so my vision board is my background all year long. And the last thing I do is I create a different, like mobile friendly version. So instead of it being horizontal, it's vertical. And that template is also like when you download the template, you'll have access to that template as well for my phone. And so it's not usually the screensaver of my phone. However, I'll show you. I have it right, if that focuses. I have it right there. So it's not on my screensaver, but I always have access to my vision board. Now, other things I've heard people do, I've heard people put it in their bathroom, like tape it on their bathroom mirror so that they see it every day. I've seen people put it in their kitchen so that they can see it every day when they're cooking. I've seen people, and I might actually try this one for next year, print out a small version of it and put it in their wallet so every time they're paying, they see their vision board. So just finding places where you'll see it again and again and again. I've seen people put it on the back of their door so they see it every time they're leaving their house. It's just about finding the places where intentionally you'll be looking at your vision board and making your brain grow accustomed to seeing those things in your life so that it brings them into your life, into real life, if that makes sense. And that's it. That's how you create a vision board. And so if you stuck around to the end of this video, I really, really, really appreciate it. I'd also really appreciate it if you subscribe. Remember that you have the template for your vision board down below. It's completely free. And if you haven't watched my review of my vision board from last year, that's last week's video. My review of my vision board for this year is last week's video. And yeah, until next week, stay wild, stay weird, and I can't wait to see if you create your vision board.